Welcome to our podcast on America in Crisis. Lawlessness has become the rule of the day. Every civilized society must have laws. Without them, we would have nothing but chaos and confusion, destruction and despair, all of which would only lead us to an uncivilized society. It is in laws that we can have justice. Otherwise, by what standard shall we judge? There is only equal justice under the law. For what is right for you is right for me, and what is wrong for you is wrong for me. There is no question, no doubt, no double standard. This is why God Himself, the Supreme Judge, gave His people the 10 Commandments, many of which are part of our laws today, like do not steal, do not murder, for just a few. But what we have seen in the last several years is that we no longer enforce our laws. We also have a double standard. What may be wrong for you is not wrong for me. We also no longer have justice, for justice is a price for breaking a law. Today we feel that some people do not need to pay for their crime. We feel that justice is being served when one person is let go and another serves time, not on the basis of their crime, but their place in society. The very rich and famous at the top, and the poor and underserved at the bottom, are excused from their departure from the law. Justice is blind, at least she used to be, but today she has her eyes wide open to see, so that she can decide what is right and wrong instead of our laws. This is why murder is up, and theft is up, and all sorts of violent acts against humanity. Our streets are not safe, our homes are not safe, and our schools are not safe. Proverbs 28:12 says, "When good people triumph, there is great happiness, but when the wicked get control, everybody hides." It has nothing to do with guns or knives or fists. It has to do with no equal justice under the law. I know that I will not have to pay for my crime, so why not then commit more crime? When I steal, well, it is only my right, because I am underprivileged. When I murder, well, I am from a poor neighborhood. When I knock over an old person, well, I never did like my parents. When I protest and destroy property, well, I don't have a nice home or own any business. When I kill kids at school, well, they shouldn't have laughed at me. There are all kinds of excuses to be lawless. Proverbs 28:5 says, "Evil people do not understand justice, but those who follow the Lord understand it completely." So why don't we help people instead of allowing them to have excuses? We want to send social workers along with our police officers, but that is not the time to reform a person. Let's keep our laws in our society and turn our prisons into teaching centers. That is where you need the social workers and the counselors. And let's use this prison time to train people to be useful citizens. Our money would be better spent, and these people would be grateful. Because I believe that many people who sit in jails just need a little love and compassion. But at the same time, they must realize there is a price to pay for their crimes. God Himself has justice, first as we see here in Micah 6:8. "He has told you, O man, what is good, and what the Lord really wants from you. He wants you to carry out justice, to love faithfulness, and to live obediently before your God." You see, this is really social justice when laws are kept, and when a law is broken, there is a price to be paid for by the offender, and people love one another, and we all walk in God's ways. We don't need any politician or activist to tell us about social justice, because God's Word says it all to us in His laws. You see, if we keep going down this road that we are currently on, we will find that one day a man who will be called lawless will rule over us all. And he will not have mercy or compassion or love, and we will no longer have a free society. nor a civil society, but only a society of complete lawlessness. 2 Thessalonians 2, 3-4 tells us this: "Don't let anyone deceive you in any way, for that day will not come until the rebellion occurs, and the man of lawlessness is revealed. The man doomed to destruction, he will oppose and will exalt himself over everything that is called God or is worshipped, so that he sets himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God." You see, once a society closes its eyes to the truth, and they no longer live by a rule of law, then they all become like blind people walking in darkness. Today, even churchgoers have fallen for this fake social justice. Instead of walking in God's laws, which teaches us how to have justice and mercy correctly for all, many people who once believed have now fallen away. People today think that they do not even need to keep the 10 Commandments because they say they are not under the law. Paul tells Timothy this in 2 Timothy 3, 1-5. "But realize this, that in the last days difficult times will come. For people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, boastful, arrogant, slanderers, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, unloving, irreconcilable, malicious gossips, without self-control, brutal, haters of good, treacherous, reckless, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, holding to a form of godliness. Although they have denied its power, avoid such people as these." Yes, down this road we walk, and as we walk, we will see less and less truth, and light and godliness. And what lies ahead is a future of chaos and confusion, and destruction and despair, unless we turn ourselves around and once again become people who live by justice in keeping the law. If you are going through a crisis, visit the First Aid Kit on our website.